Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing side stepper cards. So they're going to be 3 steps or stairs, whatever you like to call them. And I'm going to show you how to do them on 8.5 by 11 inch in inches, A4 in inches and in centimetres. We're going to swap which side the topper goes on, or the stairs if you like, or the steps. Different size toppers, how you accommodate that. So I'm going to give you a nice thorough rundown on stepper cards. So let's get started. I'm going to start with 8.5 by 11. The first thing you need to decide is the size of your topper. So toppers or die cut frames or anything that you've made that you want to pop on a project are all going to be in different widths and depths. So the one thing you need to decide is how wide you want them to sit on your card. If you've got matting in layering, you might want to leave a bit of room behind them. Excuse me. So this one here, I would need 4.5 inches. So that's going to leave me 4 inches this side because it's 8.5 wide. So what we'll do is we'll put our steps on this side, because this is probably the one where I'm going to have to flip the card. So I'm just going to put a little note down here for you that this is going to be the steps, and this is where they're going to be, and they're going to come across there. So when the steps come in from that way, it's easier to flip your card. That's why I've put that on there, because what I'm going to do is flip my card over like that. Now I know I've got 4 inches free for my stairs, that's what we decided. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and it's up there, look, the steps are going to be that way. So I would come in 4 inches on my trimmer, and then I'm going to start at 1. You only make 1 cut with this. So if you were going to measure, you'd measure in 4 inches, 1 inch down, put a dot, and then we're going to cut all the way down to 8.25. So you would measure in 4 inches and put a dot, pencil dot 8.25, and cut a line between the 2 dots. But because I'm using a trimmer, I'm just going to go from 1 all the way down to 8.25. So there we go, that's our cut line. That's all we need to do for cutting on that one. And then I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, because that'll be the next stage. So if I turn it back over, you can see the steps are going to be this side. So because the steps are that side, I'm going to put them at the top, whether it's on the right side or the wrong side. It's easier to see all your scores than trying to work at the bottom of your scoreboard down here. So it's quite useful to sort of get your head of it. You're going to probably have patterned card, and we'll do one with patterned card in a minute, so you'll see. So we're going to score now. So you always score at the beginning and the end of a cut line. That's just the way it's going to be. And because our steps are this side, we're going to score this side of the cut line. We're going to score at 1 down to the cut line, at 2 down to the cut line, 3 3/4 down to the cut line, and then 5.5, which is half of the card, all the way through, and then finally at 8.25 where we made that cut line. So that's 1, 2, 5.5 all the way through, and 8.25. Okay, so that's it. That's all you need to do. Now you're going to mountain, valley, and mountain, and then this one's just automatically going to go mountain. So that is your fairly equal sides of steps on the other side. So you can see there we've got them on our other side. We measured where we wanted our topper to be. We can now add all our matting and layering and do our stairs. So the other thing that you can do with this, I'm just going to do just an extra little demo, because for those of you that like to use your 5, hang on, let me get it right, 5.5 by 4.25 card. If you cut this down to 5.5, just open this up, you can make a little stepper card that fits in your envelopes. 4.25 I want, I don't know what I'm doing. 4.25 by 5.5. Didn't need to put the extender on after all. So we can actually make mini ones as well. So if you had a little mini stepper and you wanted to have a topper, say you had like a long narrow topper, we know that there's going to be a score line at 5.5, so I'll just fold it in half for you. So you can decide now where your topper's going to be, and then make your cut line, and we'll just play around with this and decide whether we want it on the front or the back. And I'll show you another little trick as well. If you should happen to cut it, that on the wrong side, the steps, and you wanted your pattern to be on the other side, I'll show you how to flip it. That's if you haven't got a pattern card. We're just coming at 1.5, otherwise we're going to have no room left on the other side. And it's exactly the same thing. So we're going to score from 1 down to 8.25. So it's exactly the same measurements that I told you just now. You're just making yourself a mini card. You can do this with A4 as well when I give you the measurements for A4. So I'm going to flip this over because I always need the shorter line, the cut line, to be there. Now, whether that's the right side of the card or wrong side, like I said, if you can butt this up to the score line, you've got much more control over your card. So again, it's 1, it's 2, it's 3.75, and it's 5.5 all the way through, which I showed you just now, and 8.25, always down to the cut line. So you've got your mountain, you've got your valley, your mountain, your valley, your mountain, and then it's going to fold in half again. So you can see that we've got a really cute little 5.5, 5.5 by 4.25 card. Now you wouldn't go over the lines like I have there, I'm just being quick. Now if you turn it over and flip it, what it does is and you do the score. So if you haven't got a pattern card, you can turn your steps around. So if you're like, oh no, I wanted them the other way around, you can do that just by flipping your card and turning all the score lines around the other way. So there you go, that's how you can make them smaller as well. It's just the same principle because you're keeping the length of the card the same. So now we're going to move on to A4. So with A4 card, there's a whole sheet of patterned card here, and I'll get back that round topper because it's a nice big topper, isn't it? So what we need to do now is decide how wide our topper is going to be. So let me get my ruler back out. So 5.5 inches on this one. So this is 8.25 by 11.75 cardstock A4. So because I've got 5.25, then I know that I've got 3 inches left over. So again, it's going to be coming in at 3 inches. So I'm going to get my trimmer back, and with A4 we're going to have 3 inches. Now it depends which side I want my stairs, but I'll just do it whichever way my trimmer works best at the moment. And obviously you flip the card upside down like I showed you before. So I'm going to measure in at 3 inches from the edge, like that, and we're going to score from 1. It's a different measurement here, okay, because we're using A4. So it's 1 to 8.75. So right down to 8.75. And so will our score lines be different as well. So this is where I can show you now. If I went like that, the cards ran the wrong way. I need to start at this 1 inch. And because I want to butt it up, I'm going to do it upside down. So I'm going to flip my card over so that I've got my cut line at the 1 matching up with my score line. It's just going to make my scoring experience a lot easier. So with this one, we score it 1 to the cut line, 2 to the cut line, 4 to the cut line, and then we do 5 7/8 all the way through the cardstock. 5 7/8 all the way through, and then finally where the cut line ended was 8.75, and that's where we scored down to. So we've got 1, 2, 5 7/8 and 8.75, and the 5 7/8 is the only one that goes all the way through. So if you want to, you can fold that one in half. It will be inverted that side, and then you'll go mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain. Mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain. There, like so. Oops, hello. There we go. And you do, I'm using Hunky Dory cardstock again, which is like 350 GSM. So it's super strong. And then you just need to reinforce those score lines. There you can see you've got your lovely stepper card in inches, and your topper will fit on there beautifully. You can add all your sentiments, all your extra little pieces. So here's our A4, and we're going to do centimetres now. So we're going to decide on the size of the topper and which side we want the steps to be. We'll have the steps on this side now. So I think we did them on that side just now, didn't we? We'll do the steps on that side. So steps are going to be on this side. So I'm going to write down here, this is the bottom, and these are where the steps are going to be. You obviously wouldn't write this, I'm just showing you, because my card is the same colour on both sides. So you might want to do matting and layering with this one. So you allow a little bit extra. So we go to about there, come in that way actually. And I know that 9 centimetres is about where I want the cut line to start. So I'm going to be coming in 9 centimetres to make my cut line. It's not going to be there. It's nowhere near there, but I'm just doing that to show you. So with centimetres, just pop this on top. So coming in 9 centimetres, I'm going to flip it over because it's easier to line up this way. So 9 centimetres. And what you're going to do here is you're going to cut from 2.5 centimetres, which is there. As far as I can get over it, I can see it's there. 2.5 to 22.5. So all the way down to 22.5. And that's going to be your cut line. Just move that out of the way. So you can see that these are going to be our steps, and we've got plenty of room for our topper to go. And now to do the scoring. So I can keep this up the same way because my score lines are here. So obviously this is centimetres now on A4 cardstock. So the first score is 2.5 to the cut line, 5 to the cut line, 10 to the cut line, and 15 all the way through. And then finally on that last cut line, 22.5. So we've got all of our score lines, and now we just make them good. So mountain, valley, mountain, valley. This one wants to be a mountain. I'm going to do that before it gets caught up. So mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain. And you can see this is the most accurate in step design. It's like exactly 2.5 centimetre increments along there. So there you go. That's it on the other side, and that's it in centimetres. So I've done all of the 3 that I said. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. And also I'll see you again soon with lots more demos. So have a great day and make your side stepper cards. Bye everyone.